Over 30 miles along the Atlantic Ocean on Maryland's eastern coast lies a stretch of barrier islands that create a series of inlets and coastal bays. These bays are ecological treasures that provide both economic benefits and recreation access to large populations in the area. Unfortunately, the bays are at risk from multiple threats. One of the largest threats to the ecosystem's resilience is climate change. Seagrass species in the bays, particularly eelgrass, are threatened by sudden heat waves, while winter flounder have been found to be moving north due to rising temperatures. Increasing storm sizes threaten coastal habitats and the barrier islands. Another major threat to the bays is nutrient input, such as nitrogen and phosphorus. The northern coastal bays continue to experience high levels of nitrogen, specifically Assawoman Bay, the St. Martin River, Newport Bay, and other tributaries to the Isle of Wight Bay. Phosphorus levels are high throughout the region. High nutrients lead to elevated algae levels, making habitats less suitable for seagrass. The southern bays, which are far more open, have lower levels of nitrogen, phosphorus, and therefore algae. This algae can rapidly bloom, sometimes creating a harmful algal bloom. These blooms can cause a brown tide, which decreases water clarity and reduces oxygen in the water. In addition to increased levels of nutrients, rising temperatures also lead to more frequent harmful algal blooms. Poor water quality is especially harmful to seagrass, which have decreased by over 10,000 acres since 2001. Current seagrass abundance is just over 9,000 acres, only 33% of the 27,000-acre goal set by the Maryland Coastal Bay Program's Science and Technical Advisory Committee. However, there is potential for seagrass to make a comeback in the southern coastal bays if algae levels decrease. Healthy aquatic ecosystems which rely on seagrass are vital to over 140 species of finfish in the coastal bays. In turn, local fisher communities depend on key species for their livelihoods. This large diversity of species has been relatively stable since 1989. However, for the fish populations to be maintained, habitat degradation must be addressed. For years, commercially important hard clams in the coastal bays, with the exception of the Isle of Wight Bay, have been below benchmarks established in the 1950s. In 2008, mechanical harvesting of shellfish was prohibited in the coastal bays. Since then, population numbers have generally increased, but most of the southern bays are still below baseline values. On the other hand, shellfish aquaculture is increasing in the coastal bays, and shellfish harvest from aquaculture, particularly oysters, has steadily increased. Marshes serve as another important habitat in the bays. To control mosquitoes, much of the salt marshes from Maine to Virginia were ditched. To restore marshes, several actions can occur. Fill man-made ditches and channels. Establish an interconnected channel network. Install runnels to drain the water from unvegetated pooled areas. And place sediment on the marsh to build elevation. One of the most iconic ecosystems in the coastal bays are small coastal islands that have served as home for many nesting shorebirds. But with rising waters, stronger storms, erosion, and other factors, natural habitats for bird populations are disappearing. Human intervention has been implemented with some success. A large floating platform was made to make up for the loss of habitat. This platform became the largest tern colony in 2022. Actions to reverse the negative trends and enhance resilience in the future are needed. Having identified threats, the Maryland Coastal Bays Program published a comprehensive conservation and management plan in 1999. The latest update to this plan, in 2016, includes 50 actions to increase resilience to climate change. The Maryland Coastal Bays Program is also working on a climate change action plan, which will be released in 2023. Continued effort needs to be made to lower nutrient input into the bays. The Federal Clean Water Act requires Maryland to assess the health of all bodies of water and estimate the TMDL, or Total Maximum Daily Load, which is the total amount of pollution a water body can assimilate and still meet water quality standards. The Assawoman Bay Watershed Plan establishes short and long-term goals to increase best management practices, mostly on agricultural land, to help reduce the load of nutrients going into the waterways. Despite the challenges, there are several success stories in the coastal bays. One is the Bishopville Dam Restoration Project, which provided for 7 additional miles of streams for spawning fish. With this project, resilience, ecosystem function, and habitat was restored. Another is the innovative Living Shoreline established near Verrazano Bridge on Route 611. This project protects approximately 700 feet of eroding shoreline and provides habitat for a variety of organisms that need shallow water, beach, and marsh habitat. Cover crop implementation has been increasing in the bays since 2018. Plants used for this practice hold the soil with their roots and take up excess nutrients, preventing runoff into the bay, resulting in healthier soils and healthier bays. To continue planning and building resilience, continuous monitoring is needed to assess both the health of the bay's ecosystem and the effectiveness of management and restoration projects. Some systems for monitoring submerged aquatic vegetation, shellfish, birds, and water quality are already in place but need updating. To assess future threats, monitoring the impact of certain chemicals such as PFAS, endocrine disrupting chemicals, pesticides, and plastics will be important. Working together, we can all help support the Maryland coastal bays. For more information, head over to the Maryland Coastal Bays Program website or reach out to the Maryland Coastal Bays Program Science Coordinator.